Hey everyone! A little dark in here. I don't have my light with me in this room. But anyway, I finished watching the next Lightspeed episode, Sorcerer of the Sands. I've been looking forward to this one, because this one is the one where Ryan comes back. I like Ryan. He's a cool character. It's too bad that he just disappears a little while into the show. But anyway, this episode, let's see, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, it starts off with the Rangers are on a training mission, and let's see, Dana's talking about how she misses Ryan. Transition into Ryan is still hiking around in the desert, and yeah, I've been wondering, like, what's he been doing? Like, he was at the temple the demons came from. What happened after that? Like, I assumed he went somewhere and was like staying in I don't know, a hotel or something somewhere in Egypt or wherever he is, and but I don't know. Maybe he's just been wandering out in the desert. Anyway, he collapses, and this guy with robes and a turban or I think it's a turban, or is he just wearing a hood? Now I can't remember. Anyway, this dude with a crow, yeah, he just has a crow with him. He goes over, he takes Ryan to, I don't know, his tent or something, and then back, with, let's see, what was, where am I? I'm looking at my notes here. Okay. Oh, here it is. Olympius has a new plan. He's gonna go to the Shadow World, and Jinxer is like nervous about it. So we know that the Shadow World isn't a nice place. There's something off about it, and okay. Oh yeah, and then it cuts back to Ryan. Yeah, I took my notes as I was watching the episode. So yeah, back with Ryan. He's in this dude's tent, and Ryan tells the guy that he's looking for the Sorcerer of the Sands. And I'd like to know where Ryan heard of that. Because last time we saw Ryan, he was like writing down the symbols in the temple the demons escaped from. So where did he learn about the Sorcerer of the Sands? It would have been nice if there was another episode where, I don't know, Ryan was in the desert, he comes across, I don't know, a nomad or something like this dude maybe, and is talking to them about, hey, do you know anything about this temple? Do you know anything about the demons that are that were locked in the temple? And nothing like that. He just already knows. And yeah. So the Sorcerer's Sand's the only one who can translate the symbols that he copied. And oh yeah, the guy is like, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" Sure. Person I don't know, I'll accept a drink from you. Like I would say this is really dumb, but then again, Ryan was raised by monsters, so I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of history interacting with people, so I guess that's the excuse he has. Anyway, he faints, and based on where the episode goes, there's not really any reason for this to happen. Why did the guy give him a drug to drink? Hmm. It makes me wonder if, like, I don't know, maybe this has nothing to do with the sorcerer, and this guy is just being a weirdo. So yeah, back to what the bad guys in yeah Olympius is doing. He gets a key from Jinxer. He opens up the door to the Shadow World, and out of the door steps the Gatekeeper, and he announces himself as "I am the Gatekeeper of the Shadow World," and it made me wonder if he's like friends with or knows the Gatekeeper of the Dark Dimension from Zed's Monster Mash. Let's see. Oh, and they both have, yeah, keys. Let's see. The gatekeeper of the Dark Dimension had that little ring of keys. Let's see. Yeah, phooey. I'll just use my master key. And this guy has the magic golden key. So anyway, he takes Olympius into the Shadow World, whatever, and he explains to him that this is basically the afterlife for defeated monsters. Every time the Rangers defeat a monster, they go here. I'm guessing it's just the demons because we've seen like other like afterlives for monsters. Like most notably in Samurai, they have that episode Party Monsters where all the Nylocs that were defeated are in their own afterlife having a Halloween party. Seriously, that happens. So blah blah blah. Oh yeah, Olympius tells the gatekeeper to go lure the Rangers into the Shadow World, and Gatekeeper's like, okay. Alright. I guess they're on good terms for whatever reason. I don't know. It seems like the Gatekeeper should be a little more, like, choosy about who he just listens to. Whatever. He lures the Rangers there, and, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at my notes here. Oh, yeah. There's an army of monsters that show up, and a couple of the monsters didn't look familiar to me because it turns out they haven't been in the show yet. Alright. Why was this episode here then? Couldn't it have been a few episodes later? Whatever. Back in the desert, Ryan wakes up from the drugged drink the dude gave him, and, like, he seems a little ticked off about it, but he's not that mad. Like, I guess he sees his pants are still on, and he's not missing anything, so, yeah. He considers that, that's good. So, let's see, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. He's talking to the guy, and he says, I'm trying to find a way to defeat Queen Banshira. Then the guy goes and hides in the corner. And then the crow starts talking, please don't frighten my servant. And then the crow turns into this old guy with a really long gray beard and yellow and purple robes. And he's like, I'm the Sorcerer of the Sands. Alright. So, oh yeah, he tells Ryan that he needs the golden key, and it just happens to be the key that Olympius uses to open the Shadow World, I guess. Oh yeah, the Rangers are in the Shadow World. They shoot Gatekeeper's staff, and without his staff, the monsters there won't listen to him, and they'll attack anything. Even the Gatekeeper and Olympius, which I think is pretty funny. Oh, and then there's a funny thing. After that little thing is explained, it cuts to Loki, Vipra, and Diabolico watching what's happening to Olympius in the Shadow World, and they're cracking up laughing. They're laughing at him. I don't know. I love the villains in this season. Diabolico's freaking awesome. Love him. Oh yeah, the Gatekeeper, he opens up a portal for them to escape. Then Diabolico, like, zaps them back. Yeah, Diabolico's being a jerk. I love it. The Rangers are hiding out in a cave, and the Sorcerer that Ryan's with sends them this little ball of light, not Sam, to lead them out of the cave to this little portal that leads them back to Earth. They find the portal, but then a couple of monsters follow, grow giant, there's a quick Megazord fight, and then back at Skull Cavern, the bad guys are talking about locking Olympius away in the thing. Diabolico's all like, I'm awesome, Olympius is stuck there. And Queen Banshira is screaming at them, what did you say? He's stuck in the Shadow World? And Diabolico's all like, and Queen Banshira's like, Olympius was a loser and I don't care about him. I remember seeing this as a kid, and I just loved this. I thought this was, like, just the best thing ever. That Olympius' own mother just doesn't give a crap about him. It's hilarious. Like, wow, like, there's villains, and then there's just her. Like, I was thinking up till now, there actually is sometimes a familial connection between different villains. Rita and Zed were married. Rita had a brother, she had a father. They all seem to have a bit of affection for each other. The Machine Empire was a family. There was a mother, a father, and a son, and another son who had a wife. And then Turbo, Divatox, she had a mother. They weren't particularly close, they didn't really get along, but they still, like, there was still a familial bond there. She had a brother, General Havoc. She had a nephew, Elgar, who she was kind of callous to, but I'm guessing she knew that he was very durable when she pushed him into the pit in the Turbo movie. And in space, actually, I think in space might be the only time. Oh no, actually, in space had Ecliptor was kind of an adopted father to Astronema, Corone. Oh, spoilers. And then in Lost Galaxy, Scorpius and Trakina. And, and now we have Olympius, son of Banshira, and Banshira just does not care what happens to him. In fact, at the end of the series, she becomes, like, even worse. Like, she doesn't care about Olympius, and she also doesn't care about any of her followers. the followers who are willing to do anything for her, who will die for her, and she just doesn't care. She's a perfect villain. This is awesome. So yeah, let's see. Does anything else happen? Oh yeah, after that, the Sorcerer of the Sands, he is reading a spell and chanting. That's what he does. He does. Alright. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. So yeah, he is reading this spell. It's supposed to send the demons back to the Shadow World? The temple thing? Who knows? And Diabolico counters with his own chant, and it's really cool. He even has his own words and little hand gestures. And he zaps the sorcerer, who turns into sand. Yeah. And then, let's see. Oh yeah. The sorcerer, he had this magic mirror thing, and Ryan looks into it after he gets turned into sand, and Diabolico is on the other side of the mirror with the key, and he's laughing to himself. Love that. This was an awesome episode. I freaking loved it. Diabolico was just awesome. Banshira's awesome. Olympius is stuck in the Shadow World. Good, because Diabolico's the main bad guy again, and I like him a lot better than Olympius. The Shadow World is a cool concept. I really like when the Rangers can go to other dimensions. Dimensions that actually feel like other dimensions, especially when there's monsters there, or there's an illusion of old monsters they've defeated, or in this case it's not an illusion, they're actually there. I really love Ryan and the Sorcerer. All that stuff is just really bizarre and weird, and it reminds me of old old fantasy movies like Golden Voyage of Sinbad, where there's wizards and just weirdness for weirdness sake. Let's see. Yeah, really the only issue I have with this episode is that Ryan never morphs. I feel like they could have had something in there. I don't know, maybe there's a monster in the desert or something happens in the desert that makes him have to morph, but instead he doesn't morph. On the one hand, I kind of like that. I kind of like stories where the Rangers don't have to morph, where it's very character-driven. But on the other hand, we don't get to see much of Ryan. And then, one of the few times we do, he never morphs. So that's kind of disappointing. And, yeah, that's about it. The only other thing is, on Ranger Wiki, there was a weird thing in the trivia. It said that when Ryan's in that tent with the guy and the Sorcerer, whenever any of them say Queen Banshira, a horse neighs in the background. And I was like, what? And I checked. I rewound the DVD, and I watched, yeah, a horse neighs every time they say Queen Banshira. That was weird. On Ranger Wiki, it also said this was a reference to the movie Young Frankenstein. Alright. I haven't seen Young Frankenstein in, years. Not since I was a kid, I think. So I don't remember. What was the gag in there? Wasn't it every time someone said Dr. Frankenstein, there was a noise? Was that also a horse neighing? Huh. I don't know. Very strange to reference Young Frankenstein of all things. It's definitely not something I would consider associated with Power Rangers. And again, Power Rangers would go on to reference even more bizarre things. Oh, and a while ago, they had a thing on Ranger Wiki saying a monster saying "get in my belly" was a reference to a line from Austin Powers. So, I don't know, maybe there was someone behind the scenes of Power Rangers who was just raiding the video store every week before they made changes to the script or something. So yeah, that's all for this one, I guess. See ya.